YouTube, Facebook. Okay. It says it is. Hi, welcome. It's the end of your day, I hope. It's Monday, the 18th of September. I'm so glad that we're joining live. And if you're watching the replay, you're going to want to say hi in the comments. I always appreciate that. Listen, I want to talk a little bit about worthiness, something that has been coming up for me personally and for a few of my clients. Self-worth. Self-worth. Let's talk about it. Very different than self-confidence. Self-confidence is what we muster up every single day to go and speak to our employees, especially if there's a challenging conversation we have to have. We muster up self-confidence when we have to go report to the board of directors or we have to go present to our superiors. We muster up self-confidence when we have to go and pitch a sales proposal, right? Or we have to muster up self-confidence to go and talk to a client or a customer where we screwed up on. Right? We muster up all of this self-confidence. It's not natural. Self-confidence is unnatural for most of us. Listen, that includes me. I speak from experience. Self-confidence for me is something I have to purposely, intentionally have to work on every single day. Self-confidence isn't just something like a degree that you earn and you have it forevermore. No, it is. I don't know about you, and maybe you're the exception. Maybe you are. I sure the hell am not. I have to work on that every single day. I have to work on my mindset. I have to work on my delivery. I have to work on my skills to go and take action, right? I have to go look at, well, what am I going to need to go perform this or to go and behave in this way or to go take action towards this, in this way. I have to work on my mindset, my skills, and my behaviors. I'm always having to work on things every single day. And I do that at the start of every day because it is unnatural for me to feel confident. I don't feel confident. It's not something, like I said, that is inherent or it's natural. It is what I have to do every day to be in front of my clients, to serve my leadership companies and organizations and my clients in those organizations. I have to constantly work on my mindset first and foremost so I can go and take action. And when I take action, I gain momentum. Right? You take action and you're moving towards a goal. You're moving towards accomplishing, an objective. And so you then work on that momentum and you're gaining more confidence as you're doing that action. But then you start the next day. Or someone tells you at the end of the day, well, that didn't work out, or I didn't believe that, or actually that is something that you need to work on because that just makes no sense. Right. And so you take on other people's responses, their reactions, their behaviors towards you. You make it mean something about you. So there goes your self-confidence. It's out the window. Self-confidence is contingent upon external factors. Self-confidence is contingent upon other people's responses, reactions, observations of your success, of your actions. So when no one's watching or no one is there to validate you, your self-confidence is gone. And so what I wanted to talk about on this podcast episode, by the way, comes out tomorrow, Tuesday morning, of the Dr. Denise Simpson podcast. I talk about worthiness, self-worth, the difference between self-worth and self-confidence. Where self-confidence, we have to muster this up. Where self-worthiness, however, is inherent. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to pursue it. It is yours because you simply exist. Self-worth is inherent to us all. But we have been beaten down with the message that we're not worthy. We have been beaten down with the message that you're just not enough and you'll never be enough. It's the self-worth. That's the foundation work. So forget self-confidence. Now listen, you will need self-confidence, but it's the self-worth work that we need to do so that we are reminded. No, I'm worthy of a life like this. I'm worthy of a career like this. I'm worthy. I should be in the C-suite because I'm worthy. I'm just worthy because I simply exist. But how many of you, when you were little people, when you were children, how many of you were actually told you're worthy just because you exist, little girl, you're worthy. You deserve everything that you want. I know I wasn't. I know I wasn't raised in that atmosphere, in that environment. That wasn't the climate that I worked in, that or that I lived through or survived through. That wasn't my personal experience, but it could have been for you. And so society has reminded us, you got to work 10 times harder because you're a woman or a woman of color. Or society has reminded us, well, there's hierarchy, don't you see? Based on your gender, based on your race, there is hierarchy, which means you're less worthy than the other person. So this is the messaging that we have received all of our lives. I don't know about you, but I've been trying to shake this off most of my adult life. I've been trying to reprogram this conditioning most of my adult life. So it's continuous work. It's not like a college degree. You earned it, you're done. You don't have to work on self-confidence, or you never have to work on self-worthiness again. Yep, yep, you've attained it, you've achieved it. That's not how this works. Because as you are leading, as you are observing, as you are interacting with your employees, your constituents, your stakeholders, your clients, you are constantly reminded by their actions, by their behaviors, by their reactions to your leadership. They're going to remind you that you're not enough. They're going to remind you that there is hierarchy. And I don't care if you have a leadership position or a leadership role, there's hierarchy, and you just slipped through the cracks, not sure how you got into leadership. They're going to remind you of this. This is why it's important as leaders to work on our self-worth. That's why all that self-confidence you've been trying to muster up and you think that that's all you need is not working, because it's the foundation work of the self-worthiness work that we get to do together. That's where we form this strong foundation so that we can go out and lead our people. So we can go out and stand on our convictions. So we can go out and be seen and heard and understood. So what's the problem, people? What's the problem? The problem is we don't have enough people reminding us of this message. And this is why I had to do that podcast episode. Comes out tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning at midnight of the Dr. Denise Simpson podcast. It is on self-worth, and you're going to want to listen to this. Now, I'm fired up about this because I've seen way too many women leaders, way too many leaders out here questioning their purpose, questioning their convictions, because no one's reminding them that they are worthy of whatever it is that they want to create. Now, these are leaders who are in movements. They're starting movements. They're starting movements in their communities. They're starting movements in their organizations. They're starting movements in their families. These are women leaders who said, yes, put me in. I can do this. I want to do this. She was brave enough to raise her hand and say, let's go. But then what does society and her culture remind her of? You're not enough. Don't you see? You're not enough. And if you don't believe me, I want for you to read the book Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. Isabel Wilkerson wrote this phenomenal book a few years ago called Caste. You're going to want to go find this book. And it talks about the hierarchy that we've put on human beings. Hierarchy. Can you fucking believe that? Hierarchy based on her gender, based on her race. That determines the worthiness of a human, according to this book. And it's shocking to read the history, shocking to read the foundations of our country and how we've developed into leaders who have put others in caste systems. And so the leaders I serve, well, you're a different kind of leader. You're watching this, you're a different kind of leader, because you're not the kind that's self-absorbed. You're not the kind that's a narcissist. You're not the kind that's self-serving. That's not who I serve. And that's not, if you're following me and you are that person, unfollow me because you shouldn't. You shouldn't. That's not who I want to serve. I want to serve the individual who says, I've got something to say and I don't think this is right. And I may be that person to actually be crazy enough to change the status quo. I may be bonkers enough to disrupt this shit. I may be that leader. I may be that person. That's who I want to serve. And that's who I want to remind that you are worthy, that your society, that your culture, even your well intended family members, God bless them, but even they will try to remind you to stay in place, to keep your mouth shut because you're too much, because you shouldn't speak unless you're spoken to, because you should be in the corner, better yet, in the kitchen. You should be doing something else other than leading your people. Those are the individuals that I want to remind you are worthy of it all. And so if you are in a circumstance right now where you are feeling unseen, because that's easy. It's easy to be invisible. It is easy to be ignored. So many of you leaders out here are hiding in plain sight. I'm seeing you in a boardroom, but you're not speaking. I'm seeing you in the PTA meeting, not wanting to raise your hand because there's an injustice in that school district. You're hiding in plain sight. So many of you all are choosing agony. You're choosing agony. You're choosing suffering instead of working through all this discomfort, instead of working through this unworthiness issue that you have. Too many of us hiding in plain sight. And listen, I'm there with you, my friend. I'm still doing this work every single day. I can speak about it intimately. I can speak about it because I've been working on this all of my adult life. I don't care how many damn degrees I have. I don't care how many women I've served. I don't care how much money my business brings in. I don't care. I still work on the self-worthiness issues that I have. It's programming that I have to reprogram. It's unlearning a lot of what I learned as a little girl. There's just so much. And every day it's bombardment of messaging. Every day we're reminded. So, it's a never ending, it's never ending work. And I'm okay not ending this work anytime soon. That means that every day I have to remind myself that there's nothing wrong with me, that I'm actually okay, that I'm actually a good person, and that I actually am decent in the work I do. I will continue to do that every single day. It is worth the work every day. So stop choosing the agony, stop choosing status quo, and start opening up your heart and your mind and your soul to the possibilities of actually feeling like you're worthy again. So, you're going to want to listen to this episode tomorrow morning, Dr. Denise Simpson podcast. It is on worthiness. And if you are wanting to take this work a whole lot deeper, and I'm that person that you want to work with, then go look me up on LinkedIn at Dr. Denise Simpson. Go check me out. Check out everything, all my services and how I can help you. Reach out, DM me. It's a conversation. You're not signing on the dotted line. You're just going to knock on my DMs and go, "Hey, what's up? I heard your podcast episode. Want to talk a little bit more about how to work together." That's it. It's a conversation, right? It's not a marriage. It's a conversation. And so if you want to take this work deeper, then I am that person to take it deeper with. So worthiness episode tomorrow. It's going to be passionate. So put your headphones on, make sure there's little ones out, not in the room. So in case there's an F bomb that comes out or two, you don't want those little ones to hear it, but you're going to want to listen to it and then subscribe to the podcast. That's it. Subscribe to it. Every Tuesday morning, you have a new weekly episode that's like a master class. I mean, I don't play around with my podcast. You're going to want to subscribe. All right. Hey, listen, thank you so much. If you're watching the replay, you're going to want to comment and say hi. Let me know you tuned in, and then stay tuned for that episode for tomorrow morning of the Dr. Denise Simpson podcast called Worthy. All right, take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.